worm. Here he was at 20 feet. I was running a naked threaded worm with a silver horde gold star rudder. Cut down on the line twist. We'd marked some pretty nice fish through this stretch here, and be darned if that didn't do the trick. When the going gets tough, he's still there. Break out the worms, right? Woo. Coming to life now. Nice fish. Think lead core line's obsolete? Well, think again. Look at those big, beautiful rainbows. I got these fish while trolling 15 to 20 feet deep, and I didn't use a downrigger. If you don't want the expense or hassle of using a downrigger, pick up one of my yellow lead core rods in the Fish Hunt Shoot Productions store and get ready to yell, "Fish on." Just like that, baby. Howdy, folks. Cal Kellogg here. I am working on a fishing project today. Perfect day to do it. It's windy and rainy here in the foothills, and I got my camera set up here underneath the overhang on my front porch, and right over here you can't see it, but I got my wood pile there. I'm going to kind of use that as a table to work on. A while ago I showed you guys some video footage of a big galvanized bucket I was keeping in my shed where I was keeping all my night crawlers. I've kept them in there for a long time, but sometime in the last 6 weeks or so, unbeknownst to me, the bottom of the bucket finally rusted through. It dumped all my worms and dirt on the ground. The worms died. I had a big mess to clean up. Now I have a pile of dirt and a bucket with a hole in the bottom. There's nothing in this world as useless as a bucket with a hole in the bottom. It kind of defeats the whole purpose. So anyway, I got to start from scratch. So I went over to Willfish Tackle a while ago and I got some supplies. Started off, I got 7 tubs of night crawlers, so I got 84 fat, frisky worms. They've been living in my refrigerator in their little individual habitats for a while, but it is time to transfer them to a bigger container. So what I'm working on is really kind of a state-of-the-art worm box. State-of-the-art might be stretching it, but it's going to be pretty nice. When I was at Willfish, I got this big block, a 2-pound block of Fraybill worm medium, and this looks like recycled paper. It feels like insulation, but it's full of nutrients. You got to put some water in with it and stuff like that. We'll get to that in a second. But this is going to be the basis of my worm farm. I'm not going to use soil. I'm not going to use dirt. I'm going to use this stuff. I'm going to give it a try. I've been aware of it for a long time, but I've never used it. I've never even actually held any in my hand, so kind of excited about that. Now my neighbors, James and Renee, they got me, I can't remember if it was a Christmas or a birthday present, but they got me some fishing stuff and some candy. I know James didn't buy it. I know Renee bought it. And Renee, if you're watching this video, you're a good woman. Anybody that gives me candy, you're awesome. But they gave me all the stuff in this very unique styrofoam cooler. It's got a picture of a trout on the side. It came from Sportsman's Warehouse. So, I kept this filed away in my office, and I knew I was going to do something cool with it. Well, the time has come. I'm going to use this for my worm enclosure. I always know what I'm fishing for when I see that big trout on the side, and it just looks cool. So, that's what I got. What else do I have? I have a big giant bowl that I'm going to use for mixing up the worm compound and getting it wet. And since you're not supposed to use tap water, that water looks a little funky in there, doesn't it? It looks a little yellow. It's not a urine sample, all right? It's actually rainwater that I dipped out of my tarp and out of the back deck of my kayak. So they said use distilled water at the store, but I figured rainwater, man, that's even better than distilled water. That's all natural right there. That's your basic organic Sierra water mixed in with a little bit of yellow stuff apparently. So that's good stuff. So let's get started. What I'm supposed to do, I've read the instructions. I'm supposed to take this this worm medium, start putting it in a bowl, sprinkling on water little by little until I get it all wet. What they say is you don't want it so wet that if you squeeze it, you're going to get drips. You want it to be moist, but you want it to hold the moisture. And then after that, once you get the worms in it and all that, you kind of proceed with just adding a little bit of moisture to the top. Keep kind of checking the consistency over time. You could feed the worms as time goes along, but they've got everything they need in this compound for a while. So I'm gonna kick off the camera here. I'm gonna start mixing this stuff up, and I'll be right back. Okay, well, I've opened up the end of the bag, and here's what the stuff in there looks like. And I think it's got some different colors to it. I think this might be recycled newspaper, but let me kind of get some in my hand here and hold it up. You can see that it's very fluffy. It's fibrous. It's definitely newsprint. I can see some words on there. I can see the word "the" and stuff like that. So that is recycled newsprint and some other stuff. So let me start adding this to the bowl. I'm going to start sprinkling in the water, and then I'll get right back to you. Okay, I'm back. There's the medium right there. I've got it nice and damp. It's damp, not super wet. And there's a lot in that little block. Check it out. So I got all that in the cooler, about, I would say, 2/3 to 3/4 full. And then in here, I've still got about, I don't know, 1/3 or so of that bag left. So we'll save this for later. And the next step is going ahead and putting the worms in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and empty my worms into the bowl, so I can kind of shake them around, and I just want to pick them out like that and lay them in there, so that'll give me a chance to separate them from the dirt. So let me get on with that, and I'll be right back here pretty quick. Okay, I am back. I've taken the lid and I popped a couple air holes in it. I'm sure they could get air in around the little gap, and I don't know how much a worm breathes anyway, but I'm sure they got to breathe. So popped a couple holes in there, and I'm going to grab the camera here. Let me show you these worms. So there are the worms right there. They're starting to get active. In fact, if you look right there, you can see that one guy, he is going down into the medium, so he seems to like it pretty good. But what you're supposed to do is leave the worms lay on top. There goes another one going down in right there, right about center of the frame. You're supposed to let them lay on the top, and any worms that haven't retreated under the surface of that newsprint in 24 hours, you're supposed to discard those because there's something wrong with them. But they are healthy. They look pretty happy. They're doing their thing, and as you can see, I got a nice supply of night crawlers here. So let me whip this camera back around and say a couple final words, and I am out of here. Actually, I got to say, filming here on the front porch, I never thought of this. I got the camera, the tripod set up on the stairs. Pretty simple deal. But anyway, in closing, I got my worms in there. My long-term plan is I'm going to supplement that newsprint with some of that remaining, the remaining medium. I'm pre-mix it. I'll put it in there on top. I'll switch some out. I'm keeping the little worm tubs. I actually have a whole bunch in the refrigerator now too. When I go fishing, I'll take out as many worms as I think I need. I'll put some of that medium in the tub, make sure it's nice and moist, put the worms in there, put the lid on, keep it cool, keep it on ice, and I'll use those little tubs for transporting my worms and using them, 10 or 12 worms at a time. I'm going to keep this cooler out in my shed for the time being. As long as the weather's cool, I know my maximum temperature here throughout the week is only going to get up to about 65 degrees even when it warms up. It's said on the package you want to keep the worms between 45 and 60 degrees. So I'll keep them in that shed. I'll set them right on the concrete floor. I know it's going to be cool. I know it's going to be in that temperature range inside the shed. As I start getting into warmer weather, I have a second fridge in the garage. I have a refrigerator up top, freezer on the bottom, and that's where I keep all my bait, where I keep all my fishing stuff, waters and sodas for fishing trips and whatnot. I'm going to bump the temperature on that refrigerator up to about 44, 45 degrees, so I'm within the specifications on the package, and I'm just going to set that entire cooler in the fridge in one of the spots where the vegetable crisper drawers are. I still have the drawers in there, but I've removed the shelf above it, and I use those drawers for setting bags of fish and stuff like that in. So if I get any drippage, I can just pull the drawer out, clean the drawer, and put it back in. But if I'm going to keep the worms in there, I'm gonna bump that temperature up just a hair. I think it's set on 38 degrees right now. I'm going to bump that temperature up just a hair to get into that 44, 45 degree range, and I'm expecting to have worms all summer long. As I use a couple dozen, I'll put a couple dozen new worms in there, and hopefully I'm going to keep them healthy, happy, and I'll always have a supply of night crawlers without having to stop at the store. I'll have to go in once in a while and resupply, but I'm not going to have to figure out where my worms are coming from on each and every fishing trip. Ultimately, I want to start getting my worms over in Oroville, California, at the the Oroville Dam Bait Company. Tony over there, he's a friend. I just need to make the trip over there, and I want to stock up on or restock up on worms, tray bait, shad, and whatever else he has there at bait headquarters, and lay in a supply, because when this virus shutdown is over, it's going to be on. We're going to be out on the water. I'm going to need worms. I'm going to need tray bait. I'm going to need all my toys. So anyway, I'm going to run in the back, put these worms away, and then it seems appropriate. I'm going to go in and binge a little bit of The Walking Dead now that I've been out here playing with night crawlers for an hour or so. Anyway, that was a fun project for me. I hope you learned something. I mean, I think that stuff, I can't give it a review right now, but I think that stuff is the way to go. My fingers aren't dirty. The only dirt on my fingers is from when I took them out of their little dirt-filled tubs. That's just going to be a lot neater. And just going to make things a lot easier, provided they live, and I'm sure they do. Frable wouldn't be selling something that doesn't work. So I'm Cal Kellogg. I'm signing off for now. If you're looking for trout rods, reels, lures, soft plastics, all that kind of stuff, you know where to go. Go over to the Fish Hunt Shoot Productions website. Check out my store. I got all the stuff in there. You see me fishing on the channel, stuff that I believe in, that I can offer to you guys at a fair price, stuff that performs out on the water. Anyway, I'm Cal Kellogg. Hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification. I want to thank you guys for all the support, and I will catch you next time right here on YouTube. I better go wash my fingers. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys.